A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to this week's edition of Breeding to Win. Things are definitely heating up for this year's Vodacom Durban July, and many will be looking forward to the final field announcement, which will take place on Tuesday, the 25th of June. Right now, however, it's time to take a look at what's on tonight's show. We start the show with a look at another of the Freeman stallions. We see a commercial for the new stallion, Undercover Agent. Fiona catches up with Grant Knowles to find out more about the imminent Klavervlei farm sale. And lastly, Fee also catches up with Adrian Todd for a protocols update. Quality stallions are the key to success in any thoroughbred operation. John Freeman stallions represent some of the country's top stallions, and tonight we feature another of their stallion profiles.
Give me the green light, has it all. Looks, racing class, pedigree, and power. He stalks like a leopard and races like a demon. His progeny pounce like lions. 2016 South African champion freshman sire, 2017 South African champion second crop sire, 2018 second leading active sire of 3-year-olds. Gimme the Green Light is the first 3-year-old to win the Lomarong Queen's Plate in over 40 years and also became the highest rated 3-year-old in South Africa. He was also the only horse ever to beat Dual Horse of the Year Variety Club twice. Gimme the Green Light has Grade 1 winners from both of his first 2 crops, including his very talented son Surcharge, who has since been exported to race overseas, and Gunner, who distinguished himself as a leading 2-year-old of his generation. Gimme the Green Light also has 5 other Grade 1 horses and 34 stakes horses.
At Green and Green Pepper coming down to the line, arch to close. Clawback Legend still in front and Legend's going on. Legend will win it.
Gimme the Green Light stands at Farsfontein Stud and is the property of a syndicate managed by Freeman Stallions.
Undercover Agent has recently joined the stallion ranks at Klavervlei Stud and stands for a service fee of only 10,000 rand.
Undercover Agent on the inside has taken the lead and has kicked for home. Captain and Master, Rings and Things, Scott Campbell is coming late up the outside, but Undercover Agent kicked away at the right time. Undercover Agent wins it.
Undercover Agent and Snowdance. Undercover Agent though, with a wing on every who's going to do it. Undercover Agent from Snowdance. It's an absolute war of nerves. Undercover Agent fights back. Rainbow Bridge going down the inside. Undercover Agent just finds the line.
The Klavervlei Farm Sale is a highlight for any owner, trainer and breeder, and this year promises to be, yet again, another spectacular event. Grant Knowles tells us more about what we can look forward to this coming weekend.
The Klavervlei Farm Sale is just around the corner on the 15th of June. We were lucky enough to have John Costa on last week's show, who told us all about the catalogue and what we've got to look forward to horse-wise. But of course it's a festival of a weekend. We've got golf, we've got the sale, and with me today is Grant Knowles to chat about what we can look forward to. Grant, it's a wonderful weekend, isn't it? We've got the golf, we've got lots to look forward to, and of course a two-day sale.
Absolutely. That's why I'm glad you did the serious stuff with John Costa, because this is one of the highlights of the year for me. I absolutely love the farm sale. There's such a great vibe. There's no politics, there's no animosity, it's just fun-filled. There's a bit of golf. New Turf come to the party, as well as Cuda. It's a Cuda golf day, but New Turf sponsored the dinner afterwards and a whole host of the prizes. I can tell you so many stories about what's happened in the past at those golf days. It's absolutely brilliant. But then obviously the farm sale on the Saturday, where 120 odd yearlings go up, and there's great value. There's something for everybody. You know, it's one of those cliches that they say with sales companies, but there really is. There's things for Kimberley at 5 grand a pop. There's horses that can go up to R1 million. So it really is a cross section. But the highlight for me with the whole farm sale concept is the fun, the socialness of sitting in a Bedouin. It's generally cold. It's normally a bit rainy, but the red wine flows. There's a bit of glühwein. There's just such a great spirit. Friday is great fun. There's obviously a lot of camaraderie. The guys are arriving from every corner of the country. We've got guys from Durban, we've got from Kimberley. There's a huge contingent coming from Kimberley, Port Elizabeth, Johannesburg. So it's basically everybody from the country gets to Klavervlei and to Robertson, and the restaurants do well, the guest houses do well. The farm certainly enjoys hosting everybody. We get to show them the stallions, we get to show them some wine. The guys that aren't playing golf on the Friday can go to Viljoensdrift and have a bit of a barge cruise on the Breda River, tasting some of Viljoensdrift's wines. It just lends itself out to, you know, if you to picture the most idyllic holiday of a weekend in the countryside with golf, wine, horses, it doesn't really get better than this.
No, absolutely. It's going to be fantastic. Last year I enjoyed greeting all the people coming off the flights on the Friday morning, again, which Michaela organised, and getting them all out there, and then I joined them later on, and everybody just had a magical time.
Well, I think the guys start enjoying themselves from the time they touch down in Cape Town, because the minibuses are there. There's cooler boxes in them with refreshments of any ilk. And I remember the one year, I think it was the first or second year, that Paul Lafferty came, and they arrived, and our driver Google mapped Klavervlei and came up with the wine farm, which is nowhere near the farm where the horses are. So Paul Lafferty did a round trip Unfortunately, they had got stuck into the beers that were in the cooler box earlier on, and I think the bladders were calling for a few pit stops prior to them getting anywhere. So it was a great fun, and he wrote a story on it. In fact, I must really pull that story up again. It was fantastic. But it's a fun weekend. There's no obligation to anybody. The horses sell themselves. They're not prepared for a sale like people imagine them to be. They come out of the paddock, they're rough, they're tough, and every person that I know that's bought a horse from the Claverflay farm sale say once it gets home and they start feeding it and putting it into racing feed and racing type of jurisdiction and working on it, they just absolutely thrive. And we've had great results. I think John mentioned that on the show prior. We've obviously had Captain of All, we've had Edict of Nines, there's a whole host, Dream Dancer, there's a whole host, Social Order, there's a whole host of horses that have come off that sale that have done really well for small money. And it's a concept that Claverflay really enjoys, not only because we get to sell horses off the farm, but we get to bring clients to the farm. So they get to see the whole facility, they get to see the stallions, the environment in which the horses grow up. They get to see the whole works of it in a fun-filled atmosphere. There's no pressure. There's nobody really going out to think, geez, what are we going to do here? There's no competition. It's just fun. It's exciting. And like I said earlier on, for me, the highlight of my year, no doubt.
I couldn't agree more. It's a real fun event, and the sales results speak for themselves. But we've also got something to look forward to, because in March 2020, we'll have a Claverflay, the bonus race from the sale.
Yeah, we had the first one this year, and a major thanks to Betting World, who came to the party and they've sponsored it. So you'll see that on the cover of the catalogue. And yeah, the graduates of the race ran for 225,000 Rand at Durbanville. We're going to try and maybe make it a little bit later in the year. We had it in March this year, and a lot of the guys said that maybe the horses weren't quite ready in March, maybe they need a bit more time. So we're going to chat to Pumalela and the operators and see whether there's an opportunity to maybe go just a touch later. But you know, there's 120 yearlings, and you're racing for 225,000 Rand as a 2-year-old in maybe 8 months' time. It's a great initiative just to get involved, to have a little bit of fun. And syndication is huge. You know, everybody's marketing that. I know there's syndicates in Australia are probably the way to go in terms of racing. The keep's expensive, but if you divide a 35 or a 40,000 Rand horse between 10 of you, and there's a 4,000 Rand outlay and maybe 400 Rand a month, it's not a majorly expensive thing to get involved with and experience the win. I think any owner that you've ever chatted to, I mean, you've chatted to a lot on the race course and everything, the thrill of winning a race as a racehorse owner, there's nothing like it. And now you've got an opportunity of buying, and it's almost like a maiden plate to a certain extent with 225,000 Rand up for grabs. So a massive thank you to Betting World. They are the leading bookmaker in the country in terms of what they offer. They offer the biggest splits in terms of backing a first timer. They've got a wonderful head-to-head offer where you can actually back. They price up 2 horses, one versus the other, and there's basically 9 to 10 the field on those 2. They use their initiatives. They've got wonderful opportunities to get involved in bet types, and it really is a privilege to have them involved in the farm sale.
Yeah, and it's a sale, as you said, you can get involved at any sort of cost and have 100% fun out of it as well. It's something to really look forward to. I'm certainly looking forward to being there in June.
You're going to buy a horse?
I don't know about that, Grant, but I'm looking forward to being there. And of course, we've spoken about Michaela before. If anyone wants to get more information or get in touch, Michaela's the lady to go to.
She is indeed, and we'll have the details of her email address and her number on screen now as well. There are still availability in terms of hospitality and guest houses, and you need to get in pretty quickly though, because Michaela's, I think she's even using a few new guest houses that will be supplying and providing accommodation for our guests. But all in all, and I think for me to summarize, even if you don't buy a horse, to come to Claverflay for the festival, to ever play golf, to watch the sale, to see what value there is, to take 5-10% of a 5-10 grand horse that can go on, and possibly you've seen the likes of Twist of Fate, you've seen the likes of Return Flight. They were 15,000-20,000 Rand purchases. They've come to the party, they've won Group 1s, they've earned in excess of R1 million. It can be done. And
you're guaranteed a fabulous time in the country for the weekend.
And it's a weekend away, exactly as you say, in the countryside, wine farm, the whole host of festivities, new turfs dinner on the Friday night. There are great restaurants and great bed and breakfasts in Robertson and Bonneville area. It really is just a fun-filled weekend. So we urge everybody who would like to come away and enjoy it with us. They'll get to see the stallions. We've obviously got twice over. We've got William Longsword, captain of all. We've got a whole host of coup de grace and a wonderful bunch and array of stallions as well that they can go down to the stallion complex and have a look at them and just mix everything. And then obviously the Sunday, which is a new initiative, is the reduction sale. Obviously Cloudflower are going to be reducing their numbers on the farm, so we've got a whole host of mares and some wonderful weanlings that are going to be on offer. So speculators that are wanting to possibly buy a weanling, they can get onto a sale in January and have a quick return. There's actually everything available. So in ticking the box of saying there's something available for everybody, the sale certainly does just that.
It's the perfect weekend away. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for chatting to us, Grant.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Adrian Todd has been working tirelessly to get the export protocols for the South African equine industry dropped. Fiona Ramsden chats to Adrian to get an update on the protocols.
It's a while since I caught up with Adrian Todd, and I'm sure everyone's interested to see how we're going with the export protocols in South Africa. Adrian, $1 million question. The industry is on a bit of a low at the moment, and we're all very dependent on the export protocols going forward. And I know you're working very, very hard, travelling and every day working towards it. How is it going at this stage?
We're very happy with where we are. You know, as I've said a number of times, this year we hit the point where totally happy with everything scientific, and we started to push on everything from getting it over the final trade barriers. One of the big developments is that there's now multiple government agencies working with us on this. Apart from the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Trade and Industry have gotten behind this effort and are pushing it. I think they see, I know they see the potential that this industry has in foreign investment and especially jobs, sustainability and job growth. We have the support of government. We've reached the stage where we are just pushing to get this across the line. And I know it's a very long road, and I know that people say, oh, it's taken forever, and it has taken a long time. But you have to remember it's taken us just over 1.5 years to finalize the implementation of world standard systems. They're world class. And now is the final push. And I think we can be very optimistic about the future. I'm starting to really push to people that once these doors do open, we then need to remember it's not just simply over. We need to make sure we leave in place the people that operate the system. The system will stay in place forever, and they'll further refine it as it goes forward. But I think we've really reached the stage we're light years ahead of any other industry in this country. That I can tell you, both in the systems that we've put in place in conjunction with our government and with the relationship with our government. And, you know, to quote Lee Scribanti, the chairman of the TBA the other day at the TBA AGM, he said, this is a cart that we all have to pull together. The funding mechanism has been wonderful from the people that have supported, but it's still been tough. And in this final phase, we need support from everybody in South Africa to get this across the line. And get it across the line we will, and in the not too distant future.
But when you finally get there, it's going to be such a turning point for South Africa and the industry. I think we're all just looking forward to that.
It's the only future we've got, Fee.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to chat to us. I know we're going to catch up with you hopefully on a monthly basis, so we'll chat to you again soon. I know you've got a lot more travelling to do, a lot more hard work, but let's just hope we're in the final push.
Thanks, Fee. Always good to talk to you.
Thanks very much, Adrian. Always good to have Adrian Todd on the show, and we do look to be getting closer with this export protocols for South Africa. He's working very, very hard on it indeed, and fingers crossed, and we're all hoping that we'll see light at the end of the tunnel very soon.
Well, Well, that's a wrap for this week's edition of Breeding to Win. Thanks to Grant Knowles, Fiona Ramsden and the rest of the Breeding to Win team. And until next week, good night.